Hi, I'm Karen Downing Ripley, and I invite you to join me on a recent, unexpected side trip to Brittany, France, during the 80th anniversary of the city of Plélo's remarkable liberation celebration, and learn why Bretons and Americans remember and honor our shared DNA of World War II. A last-minute decision to deliver my father's World War II documents to the city of Plélo, France, opened me up to an amazing experience that has truly changed my life. I ask that you join me so that you too can know and appreciate how we Americans are respected and revered because our ancestors fought to liberate the town of Plélo in August 1944. After arduous travel in England and Europe for 4 tiring weeks, how was it that we had ended up in Plélo, France? The synergy of us coming unknowingly and unannounced exactly at the moment that Plélo was celebrating my father and the American Liberators for saving the town and its citizens in World War II was simply incredible.
I think if you were to work out the mathematical odds of all this working together to having us show up when we did, where we did, at the time we did, would be mathematically impossible. It boggles my mind, and everybody we've talked to keeps insisting on divide and guidance. But man, I gotta almost think that something was going on that we didn't know about. But I'm glad it all happened.
I was incredulous at the fateful turn of events and humbled at how graciously we were greeted and invited to be a part of Plélo's liberation festivities. It led me to reflect on how World War II trauma had entered the DNA of my father and all the descendants whose ancestors had been affected both by Plélo's occupation, but also by its liberation. Not only by the Americans, Allies, French resistance, and Brittany's citizens who fought together, but also by the Germans and Russians they fought against. The next morning, we left our B&B and headed for Plélo City Hall to deliver the documents as planned. When we arrived, no one spoke English. The deputy mayor and several administrators all helped the best they could, and finally we understood the mayor was out and we should return in 1 hour. When we did return, the mayor was gracious, but he did not speak English either. We all struggled to communicate. Suddenly, a lovely young female custodian looked up at us and spoke in perfect English, asking if she could help with translation. Her name was Leslie, and from that moment on, she became our translator. Everyone in the mayor's office was surprised that Leslie spoke English. No one knew that she had attended university in England. She had moved to Brittany to be near her mother and had chosen a less demanding job so that she could devote most of her energy to raising her children. Leslie listened intently as we explained our visit and conveyed to the mayor our desire to deliver historical documents regarding Plélo's liberation. When I presented the mayor with my father and Colonel Hamsley's World War II war documents, I was immediately welcomed as the daughter of the American Liberator Burt Downing and as Colonel Hamsley's protege and friend. The mayor invited us to attend 3 days of festivals celebrating the liberation. He also gave us several entry tickets and invited us to join him in the entire city to celebrate the liberation the next weekend. Not speaking French, Burt and I had returned to Melanie's, excited to find out what our invitations included and if we had enough time to accept his kind invitation and still be able to make our flight from London back to San Antonio the following week. We were on a very tight schedule. The providence that brought us to the liberation ceremonies after all our difficulties getting to Plélo, and even after we had decided not to make this trip, made leaving before the festivals absolutely impossible. We had to stay. Burt and I gratefully accepted Melanie's kind invitation to stay above Chez Georgette in her B&B. We were overwhelmed with all the information we were given in French regarding the schedule of festivities. We didn't know where we were supposed to be or what we were supposed to do, but fortunately, Melanie stepped in and became our hostess. We just tagged along behind her for the next 3 days, and she was a wonderful guide and hostess. The liberation celebration brought her a lot of business with guests from out of town. Chez Georgette was going strong and was crowded with patrons. She had a fabulous crew who worked tirelessly for her. The members of her staff were intelligent and beautifully dressed, as you would expect from the French. Everything was run like a top. Melanie proved herself to be an absolute whiz at PR and running a business. Although Burt and I were an additional commitment for her during a busy time, Melanie wanted to do her best to welcome Colonel Hamsley's friend and the daughter of one of Plélo's liberators. She did not take this lightly and was sincere in her desire to make us welcome. Burt and I arrived unplanned where my father and the other 20 liberators of the 15th Cavalry Reconnaissance Group had liberated Plélo. We were amazed to learn that we had arrived at the most auspicious time we could imagine. The entire town was set to begin their 3 days of liberation festivities to honor Colonel Hamsley and my dad and the other troopers who had liberated Plélo, and the mayor had invited us to join the festivities as his guests. Please join me for the next episode when you'll learn how this provident turn of events made me realize that there was far more to my unexpected trip to Plélo than just a rousing good time. See how I was brought to terms with what my father and all the others had experienced in war. I was humbled and overwhelmed with respect and gratitude. I began to understand my country, my father, and myself.